If you've ever sold a stock at the bottom and then explained afterward exactly why it was the right move, this video is about you. Because you weren't wrong about the analysis, you were wrong about yourself. Morningstar's Dalbar studies tracked millions of investors over decades. The finding wasn't that people picked bad funds, they picked fine funds. Then they bought after the run-ups and sold after the drops. The fund returned 10%. The investor who owned it returned 6%. The fund did its job. The investor couldn't do theirs. And it's harder now than it's ever been. Markets move in milliseconds. Algorithms trade before you finish reading the headline. The emotional triggers that used to build over months now land in hours. Your brain wasn't designed for that speed, which means the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it is wider now than it has ever been. So here's the one question this video keeps coming back to. Why do you keep doing the thing you know is wrong with money? The Survey of Consumer Finances, one of the most detailed financial datasets ever collected, covers 50 years of American money behavior, and what it shows is uncomfortable. Your investment decisions are predicted by what the economy was doing when you were 19, not now, then. Grew up with high inflation? You distrust bonds. You've distrusted them your entire life. Grew up in a bull market? You're probably overexposed to stocks right now, and you'd fight anyone who pointed it out. You're not making decisions, you're replaying a recording. And here's the honest part, this has limits. If you grew up somewhere that experienced hyperinflation, no amount of historical data about stock returns is going to undo that wiring. This isn't a universal fix, it's a reason to look at where you're standing before you decide where to go. Bill Gates went to Lakeside School, 1968, one of about 300 high schools on the planet with a computer, out of 303 million teenagers. His best friend there was Kent Evans, same talent, same drive, same obsession with computers. They were going to build something together. Kent died in a mountaineering accident before he graduated. Your brain wants to reject what that means, because if Gates got lucky, your own successes might be luck too, and your failures might not be entirely your fault. The extreme ends of any outcome have more luck in them than we want to admit. The middle is where your decisions actually live. So don't study billionaires, study the people who built something over 30 years without a single dramatic moment. Ronald Read was a janitor and gas station attendant. Same routine, same paycheck, same nobody notices life for decades. Saved what little he could, bought blue chip stocks, held them, died at 92 with $8 million. Time only works if you don't get bored, scared, or clever halfway through. Two investors, one earns 3 times the annual return of the other. On paper, it's not close. But the second one started earlier and didn't stop. 30 years later, the slower investor is 4 times wealthier. Most people don't lose in crashes, they lose in the long stretch of nothing, when the account barely moves and something shinier is always one click away. Boredom is the real risk, so design around it. Automate, set it up so the default is doing nothing. Make it harder to check than to ignore. Put friction between yourself and the decision to sell. 4 out of 10 public companies that made it to the stock exchange eventually lost almost everything. 7% generated every point of return in the index. The index rose 73-fold. You're going to be wrong. Often, that's not a flaw, that's the math working exactly as it does for everyone, including the best investors alive. So the only question that actually matters is this: can you survive being wrong without getting destroyed? Not on paper, in your body, at 3 in the morning when the number is ugly and someone you love has seen it. If the answer is no, the problem isn't your picks, it's your design. The portfolio is built for someone who doesn't exist, someone who stays calm when everything is on fire. Nobody stays calm when everything is on fire. Build something that doesn't need you to. Harry Markowitz, one of the architects of modern portfolio theory, won the Nobel Prize in economics. Someone asked him how he invested his own money. He said he split it 50-50 between stocks and bonds, not because the math told him to, because he couldn't sleep otherwise. Stories move markets more than data does. That's not a theory. That's what happened in 2007 to 2009. Nothing physically changed. Same buildings, same roads. Households lost $16 trillion. What broke was a story. Housing is safe. Banks are solid. When people stopped believing it, everything collapsed. Not because anything real changed, because the narrative did. Your financial life runs on stories you tell yourself about what's normal. Most of them are invisible. The ones that are wrong will cost you before you find out. So here's the one thing. Think about the last time you lost your temper. Not with money, in life. Traffic, a bad morning, a conversation that went sideways. Now imagine that version of you at 3 in the morning watching your portfolio drop 30%. That reactive version of you is the one who will make your financial decisions in a crisis, not the calm version, not the version watching this video right now. So stop trying to build a portfolio that needs the calm version. Build one that survives the other one. Buy broad, hold long, keep enough cash that you never have to sell when it hurts. Automate what you can and stop checking the number like it owes you something. Not because it's clever, because it's the only thing that works when you're tired, scared, and watching a number you don't like at an hour nobody should be awake. If that's what you're building, comment survival, not as a response, as a decision.